Hi, welcome to My Messy Fingers. I'm Charlie. I am going to make my little exploding box for the second time. So I'm still going to be a bit nervous because I haven't done it enough to be repetitive and remember things. So I've made lots and lots of notes, so it will to your benefit. You're going to need 2 pieces of very heavyweight cardstock because this will be the structure that's going to form the box. So if you're using 65-pound weight, it is not going to be sturdy enough. The box is going to be kind of flimsy at your edges. So use 100-pound or better for the weight of the box. You'll need 2 pieces. You're going to cut 1 piece. Now I'm using 100-pound cardstock here, and it's called Antique Gold, and I got it at, excuse me, and I got it at Cardstock Warehouse. This Antique Gold comes in 100-pound plus 81, so I'm going to be moving to the 81 in a little bit. But you're going to want 1 piece of cardstock cut to 9 by 11 inches. On this piece, you're going to set it on the scoreboard so that at 9 inches across here, you're going to score it at 5 inches. And then you're going to turn it, and then on the 11 inch, you're going to score it at 4 inches. So on this piece, this square, it's the only piece you have a square. You're going to cut this out. So let's go ahead and let's do that. So we're hopefully doing these things together. Or better recommendation, you might want to watch, because if I make a mistake, I don't want you repeating it. Okay, so there's my square. Let's cut it out. Save it for scrap. Now, the next piece you're going to want, it is going to measure 11 inches across by 11.5 inches. Put this on your scoreboard. So on the 11.5 inch length, you're going to score it at 1/2 inch, 4.5 inches, and 9.5 inches. Now you're going to turn it so that along the 11 inch length, you're going to score it at 2 inches and then at 9 inches. Now on this piece, you are going to have 2 small squares up here that you're going to cut out, plus you're going to cut out this entire rectangular piece down here. Excuse me. So I'm going to be brave and do mine. Like I said, I've only done this one other time. Scrap piece. And I'm making this out of leftover paper from a collection that Scrap and Create sent to me. And then you're going to cut out these 2 small squares up here at the top. So this is what you end up with. So this, when you fold it and you excuse me, cottonmouth for some reason, I apologize. So score along these lines, and then you're going to burnish, you're going to fold them over and burnish them. And remembering my first one, I ended up coming in here and trimming these edges down just a little bit so that they would fold inside, not by very much, just a hair. this way they fold in better. Okay. Now what you have here is the beginning of the lid for your box. All right. So now this piece down here, you're going to fold in on these score lines. And I'm going to trim this down just a hair because I can see my score line, so I do need to trim that down a little bit, because if I don't, it's not going to close correctly. Okay. We're going to run tape along this right here. So that's a 1/2 inch score, so I use 3/8 of an inch tape. And I want to miter these corners. Helps take the bulk out. And then you're not seeing that double seam when you're putting things together. Now this is going to line up and connect right here. Hold on here just a second. Or was it this one? Now I'm trying to remember what it was I did. I think it's the bigger piece that connects. It is. It's the bigger piece. So this piece measures at 5 inches by 7. So the 5 inch is going to sit here. This is where the waterfall is going to sit when you're all done. So you're going to add this in. So let's put that together before we forget. Bring it right up to, excuse me, I'm going to bring it up so I can see it. Right up to the corner of this score line and put it together. Now, if you look at this, you've got this flap sitting over here. So you're going to cut a piece that's going to be 4.5 by 4 7/8. And then you're going to score on the longest edge, and then we're going to bring this in and we're going to put it right here. But I'm going to miter my corners here real quick. Okay, so now we've got our 2 flaps. Now in here and down here, we're going to create a little accordion type folder flaps. Now I went to a lighter weight and probably went to too light of a weight, but there's going to be bulk added onto this. So this is going to get heavier, but I don't want to have a heavy piece in the center here, because these are going to fold up and fold in, and we don't want that additional bulk and weight on something like this. So let's put some tape. Oh, you know, it would be nice if I gave you the measurements, wouldn't it? What a ding ding. Okay, you need 4 of these. They're going to measure 11 inches in length. Then you're going to come in and you're going to score it at a 1/2 inch, 4 inches, and 7.5 inches on all 4 pieces. Tape your 1/2 inch. I am going to miter my corner again. And then this is going to get added on right here. All right, now I'm going to do that again over here. have these little triangular pieces all over the place. And then it's going to come in on this side here. Whoops, 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 whoops. I don't have it back far enough. Okay. I'm going to have to put tape on that again. There we go. So these are going to accordion fold like this. So that's your bottom set. Now we're going to add the set for here. This thing is such a floppy. It's like everywhere. Okay, we're going to set this right in here in this seam. And then this is going to accordion fold like this. Now let's do the other side. And then snip those corners off again. Fold that over, give a good burnish. And then I'm gonna lay it right in here along that seam, and then this is going to close. What am I doing? Okay, our box is made. However, we need to put some ribbon to close these, so the ribbon needs to be attached to the back side and come over and tie. And I am using a very beautiful collection So I'm looking at this and I'm using the gold, and I think I'm going to use a dark blue ribbon to tie these off with. So I apologize, I should have had this ready to go. And so I'm going to reach up here real quick. I'm going to take off. I feel bad. I should have had these cut already. I'm going to cut 36 inches. I'll have way too much, but I'd rather have too much than not enough. Oops, not there, down here. So I'm going to take 12 inches. I hopefully don't need more than that on both sides. And I'm going to turn it over. And then, because I've got a little bit of exposed tape there and I don't want this to move, I'm going to run some tape over the ribbon. Now we're going to do that again to see when you get this done. Let's see if 12 inches was enough. Yes. So 12 inches on each side, and it will tie and keep those closed. So I'm going to trim again. And then I'm going to cut this down to 12 inches again. And I'll save that ribbon for later. Okay. Don't mind me while I flop around here. All right, so now if you're real careful, you can fold this up and you'll have your box. But you need to place some magnets, and I would use strong magnets if you've got them. But when you fold this up, these flaps need to stay up. These are going to come over, and this is going to come up to the inside, and then there's your box. So we need to put a magnet here, here, and then we're going to put two on the front. So let's get some out here. So I want a total of 4 magnets. We're going to tape these in. These magnets I bought had these rubber spacers, and I have to tell you, it was a marvel that they thought about that, because it is really hard to separate some of these magnets. I find them on Amazon, and they're just tremendously strong. All right, now here's the challenge. We need to close this up, and now we need to put the matching magnets to these two flaps and here. Yeah, that's strong. Let's try and let's see if we can figure this out. I'm going to do one at a time. So I'm going to take a piece of scrap paper and I'm going to put it on this. And I'm going to take a magnet and let it find the mate. Now, I'm going to put some glue back here so that when I fold this up, I'm going to reach in from this side and I'm going to rub where that glue is. And now I know where my magnet needs to go. And then I'm going to run some tape over this. Just a minute. Okay, now I'm going to repeat that process. I lost my keys. I'm going to repeat that process for this one right here. Put a little bit of glue. And then I'm going to fold this up on itself. Reach in and rub where the magnet is. Oh my tape is weirding out on me. Okay, so now I'm hoping that if I close this up, bring these two up, beautiful. Now it's doing that same process for these two. So I'm going to take my little piece of paper, put that on there, put a little bit of glue. I'm going to do one at a time again. And I'm going to tape it in. All right, one more time. Now this one catches, so it helps do the job. I'm just going to... Right, there's that. See how strong that was? It actually pulled it up to its mate up on the top. That's because the glue doesn't dry. It dries fast, but not that fast. Okay, so there's our box. Challenge accepted and done. Okay, so the next video will be how I'm going to decorate this. And you can use any paper collection that you have that you've got at least 7 sheets. You might get away with it with 5, but with cutting errors, I would encourage you to at least have 7 sheets to play with. So I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.